Oh, we should have had.
Hey, everybody.
That didn't last long enough. You can't see it.
Okay, here it is again.
There
But-
it is. There it is.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Hollow Knight Marauders podcast and also Hollow Knight Marauders Live, as that's been the new thing for us these few weeks with Andor.
Yep.
No Jack today. He's in that intro, but someone that is in that intro, Becca, is here. How's it going,
Hello.
Becca?
Good job.
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
Of course.
It's,
Thank you for filling in last moment. Although sometimes, maybe you should just come on instead. I'm just kidding. We love Jack. But thank you for being
We
here.
love Jack.
We love
Yeah,
Jack.
of course.
Hello.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Andor, obviously, again today. Episode 6. What was it called? The Eye.
Yeah.
It's called The Eye.
Lots of
Um,
eyes. As you mentioned yesterday.
Welcome,
The
my
Eye,
friends.
the Eye of Mara
The
on
Eye of
Indiana
Mara.
Jones.
That's all I've been thinking of,
Oh
the
my
entire day.
Why are our brains so broken?
What do you mean?
You want to talk
That's-
about broken brains? Do you know what consumed my entire day today, aside from Andor?
What?
Halloween.
Yes, kind of. I tweeted about this. Someone in a Discord that I'm in posted a photo of a Sasquatch Squishmallow. You know, the little plushies. And my go-to reaction is a Lula, just like a cartoon that kind of just looks like the emoji of just the guy standing there. And so it's just Lula from the Bad Batch just
Oh,
standing
yeah.
there. And so for some reason, I'm like, you know what? It would be really funny if Lula was Bigfoot.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah,
I made
alright.
a meme. So I made a meme of Lula as Bigfoot, Lula as a Loch Ness
You
monster.
should have added those pictures on here.
Oh, I'll add them in. We'll share it
Jamie,
later. So
I
that's
cannot
been
tell you.
my
That was
mind's
such a perfect example
consumption today.
how broken we are.
I love it.
Let's talk about broken cryptid Lula's new series here.
I'd watch it.
Anyway.
Speaking of broken, this episode probably broke us all as well, right?
Speaking
Yes.
of broken, Mimic.
Very sad.
Oh no.
But we'll
no-
get to him.
Spoiler
some
warning.
I'll cry.
Spoiler
But, we'll get to him.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted to come up with an icebreaker question, and I couldn't think of like a Star Wars
what's your
one.
favorite
Unless...
cryptid?
What's that? What's my favorite cryptid?
What's your favorite cryptid?
Favorite
Yeah.
cryptid.
It was gonna be who likes candy corn. That's usually a hot topic thing. And Jamie, your picture seems to have frozen, but we
Oh,
can still hear you.
no.
That's okay.
Oh.
For our listeners,
Oh, you're back.
Jamie's
For-
picture froze.
It's okay.
For our
I'm
listeners,
sorry.
Jamie became
It's very rainy here
Carbonite.
today.
For our listeners,
I
AJ
became a
held up
cryptid
box of
myself.
candy corn.
Give me
No,
a
you know what
second.
happened actually? The Aldani crew's outside and they froze the comms up.
That's
Aw.
Yeah. Or it's
That's
the
it.
eye.
Way to
The eye is
tie in.
passing.
Either one.
There you
Anyway,
go.
I don't mind candy corn. I'm in the middle on candy corn. Either one.
I'm the Bendu on candy corn as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I even had it, so I don't know if my opinion matters.
It matters.
Like I don't.
You're,
I mean,
you're
I guess,
on
like,
the
I
show.
don't
Your
have a
opinion matters
good or
more than
bad.
anybody else's.
I'm like, oh,
It
what does
still
it taste
matters.
like? I don't
Tastes
remember
like
what it
sugar.
It just tastes like sugar, I
It
guess.
tastes like
Is it
you
like?
just, like,
I remember it being
freebased sugar.
bland. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm not
but
a
that's
huge
not
fan of it.
inherently. Yeah.
Most
mean,
people
like,
aren't.
Hard candies are funny because it's just well, it was this the stereotypical I got a handful of
It's not a
candy.
hard candy.
It's
I
not
was gonna
hard.
say, is it hard?
It's squishy.
Doable. Yeah, you don't
I
suck
don't know
on
if
a.
it's chewy.
See, this is
but-
probably why you don't
What's
like
not
it, 'cause
chewy,
you've been
yeah.
sucking on candy corns your whole life. You got to chew
you
them,
guys
Jamie.
and us. Y'all have had it. We haven't.
They aren't
had
Tic
it.
Tacs.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember. Now can I eat it though? Is it vegan?
This one is
Good
not.
question, probably
Sugar.
not.
This says
Oh.
contains
If it's
egg,
not-
so
Oh, okay. So I will never
Ooh.
know.
not
There
this
you go.
one.
I guess
That's
we'll
Unless
never know.
some crazy sadist out
Oops.
there was like, I'm gonna make candy corn for vegans
There
because they
definitely
need
is a
something to
variation.
eat.
I'm sure there's probably, but
I'm
I
gonna
don't know
turn
if I
this into a Star
care
Wars
enough.
question.
How common
Which-
is like that in candy? Just like eggs and candy.
Which member-
Anyway, that's
Which member of the Aldani crew would like candy corn?
Ooh.
Skeen.
Oh yeah,
I could see Skeen. Yeah.
Skeen
Yeah.
eats like a bag of it a day.
Yeah.
He's on watch.
I could see
just like,
Nemec also, like
Yeah,
enjoying
Nemec could
it.
be.
He's writing his manifesto, like just honking down candy corn.
Yeah.
Just,
It's a little
man,
bag.
oh, tyranny of oppression. Oh, just chomping
Ooh,
on
candy
him.
corn.
Oh,
Oh, this is
Candy
this is
corn.
great. Oh, Andor's gonna love this one. I'm gone.
It's canon that candy corn fueled the rebellion.
That's
I'm
it.
gonna
There
say
you go.
that.
That's it.
It
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's where he got his second wind later. He's like, I'm not tired anymore.
See,
'cause he ate all
Nimmick,
the
Ate
candy
the
corn.
candy corn.
Nimmick
Yeah.
chews them. Skeen sucks them.
Ooh.
That's what.
Ooh,
That's my lore.
Okay.
That's
Alright.
my lore.
That's
yeah, I like it.
Candy
So-
corn
Here
is
for
what
it.
we're talking
Yeah.
about.
yes,
That's what we're talking
Okay.
about. Candy corn.
candy corn.
Just so you know.
I guess we'll dive into the actual episode now.
Okay.
Ooh, Brian Crosby, our good friend.
Whoa, what-
Candy corn rules.
The hottest take here so far.
All
Yeah.
right.
You heard it here.
Very good.
Becca, while we have you on,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do something special a few weeks ago.
I did.
You and Ryan got to go to the Andor premiere,
Yes.
the first 3 episodes. How was that? Tell us about that experience.
Honestly, it was so fun. We luckily Ryan and I have been able to attend a couple other premieres. We went to The Last Jedi together and Rise of Skywalker, and he got to go to Force Awakens. So it was kind of fun to be back in that element.
Yeah.
But it felt different. Obviously, it's a show. It was more of a launch kind of thing than premiere is the way they advertised it. But it was just as fun. There were so many people there. It kind of felt like a like, oh my god, we're all here, and then oh my god, we got to go in the theater and watch the show. It felt very fast paced in that sense, but it was cool. It was a cool atmosphere to be around again, and the people, like, it was just everyone was there because they love this kind of stuff
Yeah.
and like this kind of Star Wars, and you could feel that. And getting to see like Diego Luna speak beforehand was really cool. I got to sit like right at the front and be like 4 feet away from him, which I was just like, I don't even know what he said, to be honest. I was just like in the zone watching him. But it was really fun. It was a cool experience to be able to go for one of the shows and like just have like that. It felt very low key, but in a very casual way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes
I get
sense.
that.
Like it was
does.
just fun.
Is it
Casually
usually, like-
be hanging out with Diego Luna? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it any different than the other premieres or launch events? Like, I know a lot of content creators were invited as well. Was it the same in that aspect, or was it like more creators were invited to this than
I
usual?
think so. The like influencers, content creators being invited is fairly new. For the 3 main movies, I don't think, unless they were like already like a huge deal in Star Wars or something, people weren't really invited in that sense.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
got to
that's why I
go because
didn't
we
get my
either
invitation.
dressed up, right? We did stuff with the Rebel Legion. It's how we got in to those movie
Right, right.
premieres. So that was different, but it was also then cool to see how that's evolving, and like seeing like we're still going for the Rebel Legion, and these people are coming now, and it's like it's different aspects of fans, and I think that's also really cool. So now
Yeah,
it's like
it's-
more people are getting the chance to go to these cool things.
It's almost like a more exclusive like Star Wars celebration in a way, and it's cool
Yeah.
to kind of that they're it's cool that they're bringing all these different kind of people in, like cosplayers, influencers,
Yeah.
Content
Rebel Legion people.
creators.
It definitely,
Podcasters, yeah.
It felt like there was a more like diverse, like I was gonna say cast, but pick of people
Kinda.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That's super
Lucasfilm,
cool.
if you're listening, and I know you are, I'll be waiting for my invitation
There you
in the
go.
mail for
There
the
you
Bad Batch.
I think it
premiere.
got lost.
Definitely.
Yeah, our
That's what
Andor one got
happened,
lost,
yeah.
I think. Yeah,
Yeah, our Andor
they,
one got lost.
They heard we liked candy
That's-
corn, and they were like, oh, they're not invited.
No.
Not those guys.
I
Uninvited.
middle on candy corn, Lucasfilm. It's fine. It's okay. I can
Yeah.
hate it if you want me to.
Riding the
Black
fence on
Oh.
is
that
a
one.
candy corn.
All right,
Oh,
so
goodness.
What a mess.
yeah, on to this episode 6, The Eye. It starts off on Aldani, of course, and that's where most of the episode takes place.
Starts off with the shot that we showed you at the beginning
With
of
Cassian and his
in
lovely
his
hat.
rat hair hat.
Where is it?
getting ready to
it's
go.
It's a
good.
vegan. It's a
There you
vegan
go.
hat.
There it is.
Vegan hat.
Oh, it's
It's a vegan
faux.
hat. Costanza's isn't, but Cassian's is.
Getting ready to go get some chicken.
Yep.
Yep.
Or something like that.
No.
But yeah, it starts off with Cassian talking to Nemec about the rebellion and all that stuff. And Matt, I feel like you had a lot of thoughts on this. You remind me of Nemec in a way. You
Yeah,
kind of
wow.
look like I don't think Nemec has a mustache, but
No.
like how did you feel about how the episode opened with Nemec and Cassian?
I love Nemec. Definitely. Like I love
Mm-hmm.
this whole guy who's like sitting down and he's like, I'm gonna write a manifesto for the rebellion. Absolutely love that. Can't get enough of that. And I love that, Nemec is kind of this guy who kind of steps in and explains all of these concepts to the audience. Because what I really like about Star Wars lately, and they did this with Bad Batch and they're doing this with Andor, is that they really are getting into the tactics of the Empire, more specifically the tactics of fascism.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age. Keeping an eye out for the tactics of fascism is more important than ever. And Star Wars, I think, is doing a phenomenal job of teaching us, exactly what steps are being taken. The Bad Batch kind of shows what happens right at the beginning of a fascist takeover and what they do and how they control people, people's movement and stuff like that. How they'll, you can't get credits unless you submit an ID and stuff like that. And this, last episode, he says that the rate of oppression, the rate of these atrocities outpaces our ability to comprehend them. So, you become numb. And in this, he's talking about, we'll have to employ mercenaries now because, if they're not going to play by the rules, we're not going to play by the rules. And then Andor's looking at him like, look, they don't have rules. There's no rules here. This isn't a game, right? And I just really like that. The use, I'm gonna miss Nemec because I loved the use of his character to explain those things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're gonna have to keep an eye out now for those going forward because obviously they're gonna probably show more tactics, more pretty common employments of different aspects of fascism in the season, and we're not gonna have Nemec to sit down and explain it to us over a bowl of cereal. I'm not gonna be happy.
Yeah.
But I loved how it started. I especially loved Andor saying like they don't care,
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about you, yeah.
Exactly. They don't care about you. They don't care, and that I find myself saying that a lot lately, and I just liked that. That was a conversation that was being had in Star Wars as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Nemec saying like, I don't know how he says it to Cassian. He's like, "Oh, you're just gonna sit there and take it, or like have it." You know what I mean? Just accept everything as it is. And, as you said, Matt, with like today's day and age, that's very kind of rings true a lot, I would say. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but I'm really going to miss Nemec. I hope they find a way to reference his manifesto in a way. Like,
I mean, when you
Andor's
literally
gonna read
hand
it.
someone a book, they're gonna read it or a letter
Yeah.
or something, and so
Yeah.
they can so
Something's
easily
coming.
be like, "Oh, from the thoughts of Nemec," and it's Cassian reading it, and it's just like Nemec's like voice. They can so easily do that in any sort of like,
Please.
that's very simple.
I
Yeah,
would,
very
I would
excited
absolutely
for that.
love that. Especially, a scene where Andor is literally just like flipping through it. I think this would be going too far, but I'd almost love if Andor is like looking at some atrocity and then Nemec's voice just pops up in his head like, see, I told you, this is what they're doing. Obviously I don't want that to
a
actually
Nemec
happen.
voiceover.
I'd absolutely lose it if it did.
Oh, that's funny though.
But his manifesto is going to inspire Andor to join the rebellion, and Andor is going to be help lead the team that steals the Death Star plans, that brings the Death Star down, that brings Luke into the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nemec, he's the true hero here.
He makes a big impact on Cassian for sure.
The power of being a book nerd who sits down and writes manifestos.
No, it's really cool, and it goes back. It reminds me of like I don't know, like the Revolution back in the day, like
Yeah, back in the day.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
little Revolution.
just sitting around taverns, like writing about stuff and like in their manifestos. Like, it reminds me of that.
Being
which
Thomas
is-
Paine, writing
Yeah.
down what was it called? Common Sense. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah, just
getting
like that.
drunk,
Right?
writing pamphlets in a bar. Yeah,
Hey, Tony Gilroy was inspired by that.
probably.
Yeah.
I bet he
Had to have been. But from there, the plans everything starts to go in motion. we see the Donnie. They refer to them as the Donnie, right? The
Yeah.
people of Aldani, the locals.
I wonder if that's like a derogatory nickname or their actual name.
That's why I like feel bad saying it, but I'm like, that's what they said,
I
and
think it's
I'm
their
just gonna.
actual name. Like
I'm gonna roll with
Aldani
it.
might be like of the Donnie, and then the Donnie are the people on the planet. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. Off the top
Jamie,
of
I
my
believe
head.
you're still muted, by the way.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I was coughing for so long.
Levi,
sorry.
that's a good comment.
Thank you.
Levi says it's Cassian who first tells Jin
Mhm.
rebellion's a real on hope. A very different man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. I wouldn't actually be surprised if we see that in the manifesto at some point. Hope being brought up.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely. Probably says
Yeah.
hope in there. Like
That's such
there's
a
a page
core
just that
part,
says hope,
yeah.
hope, hope,
Page number
It's
one.
literally just
Hope,
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 hope, hope,
hope,
hope.
Over. It's like Bart Simpson.
No,
Oh
but
my
to go
God.
back, the Imperials just like chatting about the locals is like kind of terrifying to like listen to,
Yeah.
because it just
Oh, yeah.
shows how they don't care. They don't care about. They're just stomping over like this like local tradition.
Yeah.
It's also like I have a question like regarding this because like I think it was a little bit unclear to me, but like they talk about how the Aldani like take the trek down the mountain and it takes 10 days and they're like, oh, 5,000 started and they're down to 60 and they're like, we put taverns along the way.
Yeah.
The question is, were they like poisoning people along the way, like
No, I think it was
intentionally,
more.
or
I
they
think
were
it's more
just like
the same
delaying
kind of like
them?
tactics of like crowd control. You give
Mhm.
people a tavern, and they're not going to.
They'd rather just
They're
stay
not gonna
there.
leave.
You
Yeah.
give them
Okay.
food and
That was
drink,
my assumption.
and
Okay.
they're going to stay there instead of continuing on the path.
Okay, good. Because like
They're
Jamie
not
asked me that-
poisoning the local.
my
Well,
initial-
I kind of like
I'm not even
Jamie's.
kidding. My
I
initial
do.
thought,
Yeah.
like my initial thoughts were just like, oh, we had 5,000 people, but we're down to 60. I'm like, that's a big drop. Like, were they killing people like along the way? I'm just like, whoa.
I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Like, it's
obviously.
not.
But I
don't
think
know.
that would be. I don't want to say going too far, obviously, because it's the Empire.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was the implication, because I think they were supposed to be like, oh, we look down on these people and they're so easy to control. They can't even keep two thoughts at the same time in their head. To which I say, what's wrong with that? I take offense to that.
What was like
But yeah.
what was the thing they were talking about building? Like they were like, oh, we're gonna build the Imperial experience for them to hang out in. Like they mentioned something, and all I could think of was
Real
like
experience.
they
They were
mentioned
they're
that.
gonna build a theme park.
That's what it sounded like. They were like, oh, we're gonna build a mini mall for them, and then they won't even care about the eye at that point in a few
No, I
years.
think that like after they were waiting until this moment with the eye to have them be like one last like send off in a sense, and then they were just gonna stomp over everything and like
That's what it
redo
seemed like, yeah.
everything. And they were just gonna like milk the planet for everything it's worth at that point in time. Because they pretty much like have like pushed them back as far as possible. So they're like, all right, we're gonna let them think that they like won, but they really didn't.
Right.
Just for appearances. That's always a common theme,
like,
with the Empire.
Okay, yeah.
Like
Levi
the two
mentions
comments
use them for
above.
Oh,
later.
yeah. That's.
It's a good point,
Yeah.
Levi. But I also like Annaleo says that reminds them of how the settlers treated the Native Americans.
Very true. Yeah.
Very true. Obviously, you give them.
Literally marching them across. I mean, like that is like their pilgrimage that they're doing, like on their own like choice, but it is like under kind of in false pretenses because they don't know that they're most likely gonna get like screwed over like once they get
Right.
there. They just think that they're still free to go, but I'm pretty sure they have their doubts because like the chieftain like hucks the
Oh,
hide
yeah.
in the fire and he's just
He
like, this
doesn't
guy
trust them.
stinks. Like I don't want to do this and like
Fake Bryan
it's great.
Cranston.
And
It
remember,
looked just like
kids,
him.
The Empire is based on American imperialism. Remember
I
that.
was gonna say, yeah, they always bring
Yeah.
back real world shit. So.
So yeah,
Who was that? What was that interview George did with another director?
It's
So, like,
James
James Cameron.
Yeah.
I was watching that recently the other day, and James Cameron's like, "Yeah, it's like Roman Empire or this empire," and he's like, and George is like, "Or the American Empire," and he's
or
like,
the
"Oh,
American
right."
Empire in
Mhm.
Vietnam, and
Right,
and
oh,
the Vietnamese are Ewoks and the rebels.
yeah.
And James is
yeah.
like, yeah,
Right.
sure. Should we be saying this? Can we say this?
Yeah.
I love it. I love George.
mean,
Thank you, George.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I really
And
loved
I love that they're continuing that.
Vel and Cinta were teamed up. We didn't know what they were going to be doing. That was a big question last week. But they were hunkered down near like that lake reservoir dam thing. And when we saw the scuba gear, which my favorite part of the episode, I love some cool scuba gear. It was very spy movie-esque between that and the
Yeah.
rappelling down the dam later.
They got to sell some action figures for that with the scuba.
Oh,
the
yeah.
action
I
scuba
liked-
gear.
Hey,
Sorry,
there it
this
is.
like the
Picture of our
worst thing ever, but
lovely
there it is.
TV.
Isn't that beautiful? Hey,
Oh, yeah.
you didn't have to say it was a picture of the TV, but it was.
It looks so blue.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
That's the Rise of
Sorry.
Skywalker cut right there.
It might be our TV.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the I love the detail of the troopers marching up while they're hiding there. And they say something like super sexist, and the two of them like roll their eyes. I don't remember what they said. Something about like he saw some girl and something, I don't know. But then he just starts taking a piss right next to the
Oh my god!
cave.
First
and
time
I-
you've
they're
ever
like,
heard
"Jeez."
somebody taking a piss in Star Wars?
Well, we
Hello?
see
AP5 walking in on Wedge?
yeah, Wedge is in the urinal.
He said
Right.
that
A little different though, a little different.
No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
No, I mean, I didn't really hear like what like the soldier said walking up because I didn't
can't
really think it
remember either.
mattered. But I just thought it was hilarious that that they're walking along and this guy's like, I'm gonna take a piss, and he just goes, and the two girls are just like, oh my god, it's just like that is like perfect. I could
Gotta
not tell
explain
you
that
the
piss
amount of
more.
times I am somewhere like out and about. Like
Somebody just pees right in front of you.
No.
Fucking hate
Like say
that.
like going to like a sporting event or something. You're walking to the stadium. You're in the middle of nowhere. If as a woman you are fully outnumbered by dudes. First of all, you have your ones that you trust that are new, and you're fine. You're walking along, and then some guy's like, I gotta take a piss. You see him like hike off into the woods and just like take a piss, and it's like, I could not tell you the amount of times that has happened. It's just so normal.
It's insane.
It was perfect.
I have to
Anyway.
admit, I had
Once
never
again,
given that a thought.
Tony Gilroy was at
Make
a
you guys like uncomfortable, but
Tony
not
Gilroy was at a
uncomfortable.
football game and was like, "Oh, you know what? This would be good in Star Wars."
Tony Gilroy was taking a piss in the woods, and he was like, you know what?
But the best part about Valencinta though was this.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
Some
love that part.
confirmation, please. My God.
I
Ew.
think that it's just so the picture was the two of them literally just holding hands for a moment. It was perfect that we actually got to like see some sort of confirmation between the 2 of them more so than just like they're like sharing like the poncho and just being like, oh, she shares a bed, but
Yeah.
actually visually seeing something. Plus,
Yeah.
like it's a cool little like date. Them like scuba diving
Cool
across
little
like
date.
It's a cute
across
little
like the
date.
lake. Why not, right? Like, it's
Yeah, watch some
adorable.
guy
Went for a
pee,
swim.
Go for a scoob.
Perfect.
Go for a scoop.
Perfect.
To be serious,
Hey, Scoob.
that's what you do,
Just
right?
one.
With scuba gear, you go for a scuba,
Go for a
right?
Scoob. Can we get him?
You,
It is a cool date, okay?
you go for a self-contained
Literally.
underwater breathe. That's what
I
you do with
mean,
the scuba
if
with
that's all
scuba
it
gear.
was, that would be a cute date. But
Yeah, yeah.
Go take down the Empire. That's not a cool date. Like, come on.
I mean, for them, that probably was. Yeah.
Jamie,
I
did-
must admit, to be serious for a second, I really liked the moment where Vel was like shitting her pants before like saying like go,
Yes.
like
On the
ready to go.
fridge.
That hit me so hard. Because
That
that's me.
yeah.
Like if somebody's like, "Are you ready to do this?" I'm gonna be
Val
like,
was
"No."
Val was
way.
amazing in this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It made me
And then-
mad when she did that, but it made sense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It made me mad, but at the same time, I'm like,
Yeah.
"But I'm not.
I'd be doing the same
anything
thing.
different.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I'm gonna be losing it."
From there though, she was all in. You know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because once you flip that switch, it doesn't. You're just
It's
like,
all
this
go,
is it.
yeah.
It's all or
Yeah.
nothing.
Levi brings up another good point that I guess we could talk about later. I don't think
think-
Cinta did kill the hostages. What was
I'm
it?
50-50 on it.
Should we just talk about it now then?
Yeah.
So they
This is a
show
very
the
big Lady and the Tiger situation. I don't know if you guys remember that short story, but like, is it
Oh my
what
God.
actually happened? You remember that?
they show the ship leave.
Ooh, you just fired off. You fired off a synapsis that hasn't been awake in quite a while.
Sorry,
there.
that was like
it's going
a
nuts
freshman
now.
year English
Lady
for
and the
me.
Tiger, same.
This one's off
Holy
my radar.
crap.
For
Yeah, I
those who
don't
don't know, The Lady and the Tiger is a short story. I can't recall who it was by or when it was written. It's old. That's all I do know. But it's essentially it's some situation where like the guy wants to marry some like royalty's daughter and he's not a good choice or something like that, and so the guy's like, all right, you gotta like fight for it, and then you gotta pick between these two doors, and he doesn't know which door it's going to be, if it's going to be the lady or the tiger, and it's literally left up in the air.
Yeah.
The way the story ends, so you don't know which door he actually chooses, because it kind of does set it up in both directions. Either Anyway,
No,
Lady and the Tiger.
that was a good description of.
That's
of
good.
It. That was
Sounds
good.
Yeah.
With Cinta though, and the hostages, I don't think she did kill them. I wouldn't be surprised if she did because we know her past now. But
I didn't get that vibe though. Like
yeah,
from the
It
way it
hadn't
all
occurred
cuts.
to me
it
until
showed.
somebody mentioned it afterwards, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, someone on Twitter said it, and I was like, that's interesting. But they show the family watching the ship take off through the window.
Right. And I think
and
she already left.
She left. She wasn't there, as far as I
Okay.
could tell. So
Yeah.
That's
don't
okay.
know.
That's good. I would like to see. I mean, this was just a thought that occurred to me earlier. That what if the son like comes back at some point, tries to get revenge or something like that.
what was
for
his
the-
name?
For the death of his stupid fat father.
I don't think he would care.
You don't think he cares?
I mean, the
obviously-
way
His dad
he was
beat him.
treated.
He said, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, his dad is dead, sure, but I don't think that the kid cares about the Empire the slightest.
No, I don't think he
Because,
cares
like,
about the Empire.
He didn't
I
want to
also
wear
do
his
think he
gown
cares.
or whatever it
I
was.
also love.
He didn't want to wear the tunic. Come on,
The
kid.
imperial tunic.
I
You're
love
given a
how-
chance to wear a tunic. Wear a tunic.
No, guys, the best point of all of this, the guy is like, asks his wife, and he's like, what are you doing? And then she's like, I'm helping our son get dressed. And he's like, he's 12, he can do it himself. I can't do this. He can't, like,
Right.
He couldn't
He's
dress
ex-
himself.
he's 12.
It's expanded a little.
It's so funny.
Wife, please help.
It's so funny. Oh my god. Like, it's like, oh, our son can dress himself. I can't tie my tie. It's like, oh my god, it's so good. Like, it's
Yeah.
I can't do a minute's labor. I can't keep my heart beating. This freaking guy can't do anything.
oh, that poor guy.
I agree that Vel wouldn't have killed the hostages, but maybe Cinta would. I mean, we see Cinta just crawl down the thing and shoot that guy right away when they were kind of in a standoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
that
was
was
they were
not-
at gunpoint. Yeah,
That was not a hostage, tied up.
But I like-
That was
served
we
on
need
a
to keep
platter.
this
That
A
schedule
was-
moving.
child. Yeah, either.
I
that was
like
a dude
Vel's
with a gun
comment
pointed at Nimic. I
where
killed
the commandant is like, "Oh, well, you're just gonna kill us anyways," and Vel's like, "Well, that's what you guys would do. I mean, we're not like that."
Loved that.
I like that because Saw Gerrera is he's a great character, and obviously he's a rebel, but he's super ruthless. There's a lot.
Oh,
He's a bit too violent. Vel seems to kind of be in a bit line like, "Hey," and Cassian even says, "No one has to die."
Yeah.
Like for us to accomplish this mission, to have our
Honestly,
rebellion,
that-
no one has to die. But
That argument is probably another reason why I don't think Cinta killed the hostages, specifically because
because yeah,
they're not the Empire.
Right. Because that wasn't
Exactly.
the plan.
And
Unless-
yeah, like in this situation, I think that obviously they were aware that like the Imperial engineer, the guy who died first, was going to be there, but he like wasn't like a regular at like that like base, and so even if there wasn't like an inspection thing going on, this eye ceremony would be happening no matter what. So that guy
Yeah.
like didn't matter. He didn't matter. So he was just like a whatever, like death. But like the family was never part of the plan. So they were like just whatever.
You don't have to justify killing an armed Imperial with a gun pointed at somebody. You don't have
Yeah.
you guys. There's a
Exactly. So,
difference
like-
between killing a family and killing like a fascist with a gun pointed at somebody.
Exactly.
right, yeah.
So
the
it was just like,
the
boom,
boy's
boom,
totally
whatever.
innocent as far as we know.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to
Yeah.
be there. So it was cool to see that dynamic, like the commandant, an imperial leader, and like his family. It was almost very like Game of Thrones or something. I don't know. We don't really see the family life of.
It was very boy in the striped pajamas.
Oh wow, Jamie's pulling out the references today. It was.
But
Jamie,
anyway,
what are you doing?
like,
Reading books? Come on here. What are
Look,
we-
I
what are
was
we
sick
doing?
for 2 weeks. I didn't read all these books in 2 weeks.
I mean,
Anyway.
yeah. It is an interesting look, though, yeah, to see the Imperial families. Because we've
Yeah.
seen a
It's-
couple now.
Right,
With
because we
the-
like the Ursos, like we see like them initially,
Yeah.
and then them like defecting. But like we
And then
it's
even, like,
interesting to see, like,
Cyril
that
and his mom,
dynamic
I
I was
guess.
going to say, yeah, Cyril now. It's very,
I like it.
very interesting.
It's cool. Yeah, it makes everything a bit deeper and makes you think a lot more, which is what this show is doing.
Oh, yeah.
But back to like where we were when the Aldani show up. Were you guys surprised that they weren't aliens?
A little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I was
mean,
expecting.
I kind of figured they weren't, considering the entire human rebel group was dressing up and pretending to be them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that they were all humans, but at the same time, throw one or two aliens in there.
Yeah, you could.
Mhm.
And
It
that's
was like
been
a
like,
little diverse, but like not really.
What about
Like
those two
race-wise, but,
Aki
like-
Aki
Right.
yeah,
that were in the shuttle? Just put them down.
put him down there.
Put him down.
But yeah, there
Yeah,
was
I can be in there. But
there was a good amount of
there.
aliens on Ferrix. Obviously, we had like
Yeah.
that one like cat guy.
There's a
What
few.
cat guy? Who the hell was the cat guy?
Levi was calling him the cat guy. I don't remember.
He was
What
human,
cat guy?
but the guy that looked like the Joker walking
looked
around.
like he had like a blank
so
face, but like
freaky.
a smile like carved out.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
guy from Canto Bite, isn't it?
Kind of.
What?
Nah,
No.
The freaky
No.
smiley guy from Canto Bite. It
You-
is.
you
it's different.
We all know
It's
the
a
one that's like
different guy,
jumping
though.
around. Anyway,
Jumping
there was
around.
aliens more so on Ferrix because Ferrix was that kind of planet that
Yeah.
was definitely more on like a trade route and more people like would have been there. It seems like Aldani was kind of, as they said, off the beaten path, and so it
Yeah.
makes more sense that like the people who were there were all human because there wouldn't really be like opportunity for others to be there.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Good job.
There you go.
It was just it was surprising that they were all humans. I think. Do you think they chose the Aldani to be humans because maybe it was easier to portray them all like standing with the Imperials, watching the eye together, like everyone was human? Maybe that takes a more serious tone. I mean,
Oh.
aliens can be
So,
serious too, but like,
maybe.
Aliens can be serious.
It was
Yeah,
also
but-
probably
Jar Jar Binks.
easy to cast them because it might have all been locals.
yeah, that's what
I-
Jamie said. Yeah,
I'd go on the casting thing because like
Yep.
I remember seeing the initial like reactions to Aldani in general. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's just Scotland." So
Yeah.
like it makes more sense that like they would just get like locals to like
And
Yeah.
literally
The
nothing
extras.
changed. They literally just plucked Scots just out
Yeah,
of
they
the
changed
countryside
out,
and were like,
the
Yeah.
outfits,
Plop them in.
obviously,
want to just
but-
be in Star Wars? Same clothes, same language,
Mhm.
everything. Same.
it was cool that they they only spoke their language.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
Like
how
that.
much additional languages they're actually using in this show. They're not just like
Yeah.
exclusively limiting it to
Mhm.
basic. They're actually using different languages, and I love that. And not always giving us the subtitles, like not giving us the
Mhm.
where Cassian is from, I forget. Not giving us like those subtitles was like a really cool choice, but like giving us the subtitles this time was also a really cool choice because I love when the chief like gives his like bit and then Gordon's just like, oh yeah, he said this, and the chief's
Yeah,
like,
and it was
Yeah.
not.
what?
And the chief's like,
She's like, huh?
say
He's like,
that.
that's not what I said, which is also important because it clearly shows that like the Aldani understand basic, or at least the chief does. So I think
Yeah.
that's a good little bit.
I love Lieutenant Gorn. He's
Levi
such a cool
says
character.
he hopes Gorn survived. I hope he didn't, for Gorn's sake.
I was gonna say
If the Empire's
Yeah.
catching Gorn, he.
he was not gonna do well.
He'll be hanged for that.
I will say that was my
As,
favorite. That's probably my favorite line in Andor so far.
Yeah.
You'll hang for this. Oh, serving 7 years under you, I deserve much worse. I thought that was such a good line. Such a good line.
It was
I
the line of
think-
the episode.
I
yeah,
think he did get killed though.
yeah.
Yeah, I
He
think
did
so
get
too.
shot.
He was gonna say he
and
got shot.
fell.
Yes.
It could be a Cobb Vanth situation.
Oh,
Maybe shot in the shoulder or something.
here
And
we
then
go.
and then that four-armed doctor whose name I don't know.
Do you want to know? Does everyone
gives
want to
him-
know the doctor's
I
name?
want to know
in
the
case
doctor's name.
Yes.
Bring it on. Bring
The
it on.
doctor's
We need to
name.
know.
The subtitle
Doctor Quadpaw. That's what the subtitle said.
That's awesome. What a name.
Dr.
Dr.
Quadpaw.
Quadpaw?
Yep.
That's giving me
Nice.
hardcore Ben Quadrameros vibe.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Dr. Quadpaw.
We need
Dude,
an
that's
action figure of him
perfect.
or
Oh,
something.
you'll get one.
Oh,
We
yeah.
better.
That has to
100%.
happen.
I need Quadpaw on my shelf. Holy crap, that's amazing.
Oh, that's a great name.
Holy
we-
crap is right.
He wasn't a.
Scared me.
Holy crap.
That happens on this show. We just get the random sound effects out.
It's
Um,
not even the random sound effects. It's the random moments that we've experienced ourselves. Just the
It was a real moment.
It was.
People keep saying he's like a Maz Kanata race or like an Ochi race, but like no.
He
neither
looked
one
very
are.
Ochi. I mean,
He
he had
looks
the Ochi.
Ochi.
Ochi
He had
ain't
the
got
things.
No nose, dude. No nose.
Yeah.
He
Did
has
this guy have a
4
nose?
And the
arms.
as I say,
Quad
the
paw
forearms
had-
kind of.
Yeah, if anything, I would have said he might be like an Ardinian, but I don't even think he's an Ardinian because Ardinians ain't
You
got
know who else
noses.
And they're
has
really
4
short.
arms?
Yeah.
Dex. Dex has 4 arms.
Are you saying he's a basilisk? I don't think he's a
He's-
basilisk.
He's definitely.
Maybe his mom was a basilisk.
Maybe he's
I
the
don't
offspring
know.
of like a basilisk and whatever Ochi is.
Maybe.
That's it. That's probably it.
That's the
All
one.
right.
I think
Weird
we
hybrid
cracked it.
He didn't have a
going on.
mustache,
This
though.
is-
He didn't have a feathery mustache, no.
No.
Is anyone an
Ah.
expert in galaxy genetics? Because we're going to need to study this one very closely.
Look, we've only seen one cross-species offspring before, and it didn't look very well. It didn't look very good. So
It looked like a human.
It
looked like a
was
human
just,
with green hair.
I was gonna say just awkward human.
Actually, cuts
Anyway.
kids, even though they're not cuts kids technically, biologically speaking, they're also Twi'lek human
Yeah.
hybrids. I don't know what to call it.
The Laquains.
Cross species.
That's true. I forgot about
I
that.
love the Laquains.
Quad
They're
Pod's a
so
strange
good.
cast. Thank you, Levi.
He's actually
100%.
Snoke.
Oh, no.
He's the. He kind of.
Snoke was a doctor.
Snoke had 4 arms. He was just
Excuse
keeping
me,
2 of them
excuse me.
tucked behind him the whole
Dr.
time.
Snoke
in
was
the
my
robe.
father.
Dr.
He traded in 2 of the arms for eyes.
Oh god.
Snoke Quad Pod. That's his name. I cannot believe this.
Snow quad.
I don't know what it was. Back to the story here in the episode. I don't know what it was about the dam, but I just loved everything on that. It just reminded me of like James Bond or something.
I like,
Yes.
yeah, I like the guy being pissed off that he can't watch the eyes sitting in his control room sipping coffee, going.
Kinsey
I
with
loved
a,
that
a
guy.
great mustache.
Like, he kind of ruined
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
That's Matt. If Matt
That's
takes off
Matt.
his glasses and puts on an imperial hat, that's him.
I mean,
Whoa!
Oh.
Let's see it again. That's him.
That's perfect.
oh my gosh, that's good.
This guy was
Oh
like
man,
a
should I
perfect
do that for the
character.
pumpkin tank off this
Yeah,
year?
you should.
Yeah, he should be.
All right.
Yeah, because this guy was just doing his duty, just like listening to the comms, and then everything goes down,
Yeah.
and the worst case scenario happens. And I love how like earlier in the episode he like yells at the guys for like not being at their post, and then like all like shit hits the fan for him, and he's just like fixes
But
it.
yeah, he tries to, quote
Yeah.
unquote, save the day for the Empire, but
Yeah.
he hears
He does
the
well. for him.
yeah. He
He
flips a lot of the
remembers his
switches
training.
really well, just like Matt. Matt's a great
He's very
switch
good.
I'm the
flipper.
greatest flip
Yes.
switcher on planet Earth.
I've been on the Smugglers Run with him.
You
He
gotta be on
flips all the
Smugglers Run.
switches.
You know
You
who's
gotta
not?
pilot.
Becca and me. We were all Smugglers Run.
Oh yeah. That was
What'd
a
you
tough one.
say?
I was like, you know who's not good at Smugglers Run? Becca and me.
I'm a great
wasn't
pilot.
I am not.
I think- Yeah, you guys did
and
mix
it
well.
showed.
I think that's the problem. It wasn't me.
For the chat who doesn't know, we did one outing of us on Smuggler's Run, and it was really bad.
To this day, I can still feel it in my back from all those crashes.
It's rough when you
I'm
crash.
a good engineer.
Ugh.
What's the other position? Gunner? I'm
Gunner.
a good gunner.
Gunner.
Not a good
Gunner's
pilot.
pretty good.
I don't want to be a pilot.
Me and
I
AJ
don't want to be
though.
a pilot.
Oh yeah, we did great. I've only flown once and I nailed it. I think.
Nice.
We
nice.
didn't hit a thing. 100%. 20 trillion credits.
Yeah.
We're the best.
Anyway.
There you go.
So when the crew gets down to the vault, it felt very, I don't know why, it just felt heist movie esque, but it felt
Oh, yeah.
very Old West train robbery.
Really, it felt Goldfinger to me
Yes.
for some reason.
Okay, I can see that. Fort
so
Knox
many
with the gold
things.
or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept
There's so
thinking
many
Red
bits.
Dead.
I was thinking
Red
Red Dead
Dead.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was the whole
Like,
time.
The money.
Yeah, because like they walk in and it's under the guise at first of like, oh, commander on deck, and then like everyone like line up, and then just immediately like once everyone's at gunpoint, it's just the commander saying, "Hey, this is a robbery. Do what they say," and it's just like this is so cool, and yeah, it's so similar to like the heist scenes in like Saint Denis,
Yeah.
in Red Dead 2, and so I just, yeah.
This isn't
was cool.
what does he say? This isn't a inspection. This is a robbery.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
So is Gorn
It's good to-
John Marston then gets shot,
Yes.
left behind? He's gonna come back.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good one.
ooh.
One of them's got to be.
They got to go
The
bail
other
him out
one-
of jail.
Who was the other one?
They're going to Gorma.
Tamarin.
Cameron.
They wasted Tamarin's character. I loved him.
Oh my god, that was
Yeah.
so.
I was
that
just
pissed
found-
me
shocked
off.
they killed
I
him.
Oh my
know.
God.
I loved his mustache too. Everyone has a good mustache.
His was like a rushed
Mustache?
death as well.
Oh.
Rushed death?
Rush.
A rush
mustache.
No, it was like just enough of like a rushed death, because like I mean like he like does everything, but he gets shot. It's literally just the one shot of Vel screaming no, and then she
Yeah,
barely,
and then that was
she
it.
barely has the time to react, and then they got to get out of there.
And
So,
then
like,
Mimic's
Yeah.
like, anybody? We don't know?
No.
Guess I'll just stay where I am and not move.
no, he okay. So when we were rewatching this, he does move. He moves with everybody to the front, because then Cassian takes off. That one guy that's dead goes flying, and
Yeah.
but they're all holding on. But then it was enough of like the turbulence that like they all fell, and somehow Nemec gets like shoved behind one of the bins, even though there's none of it in front of him. And God,
This is
that was
clearly a
interesting.
Danny Phantom situation,
Like,
and he went through the box in
it
front,
was
but
like-
not the box in the back.
And then not the other one.
Yeah.
just like seeing that happen for like the first time, he's like, we watched it a few times at this point, but like seeing it happen the first time, it's just like, no, you just know immediately, and
Well, as soon as he
It
got
was too-
squashed
that's it.
like a salami sandwich, he was done. And I said, I was
you
like,
couldn't
oh.
come back.
I feel like
No.
it was kind of perfect for him though. Like, not perfect, but the way he's so noble, and like his ideas are so great. He's writing his manifesto, and then he gets through the mission, and he dies in a stupid way. Like I feel like
Yeah.
that's
And that,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
It's
that
like a
is
sadly
very,
perfect, yeah.
yeah, that is a very like, oh, war, death is meaningless, you know, kind of like, you know, message.
yeah.
Yeah.
But poor Nimic.
Poor Nimic.
I know.
We're back to this again. I just want to say, Bacta can do anything. So like
We saw Riva get stabbed twice in Kenobi.
we saw Reva get stabbed through the stomach twice. We saw my boy Finn get slashed up the spine.
Darth Maul.
Takes a little back to bath, all set. My guy Nimic, they gotta plop him in front of Dr. Quadpaw. he chops
Yeah,
him
I
up.
They brought him to the worst doctor in the
I think that was
galaxy.
their fault. Yeah, they.
Yeah, they gave him like an adrenaline shot or whatever, and then I don't know. It just wasn't like bad facilities. I don't know.
I think we need to see some education proof from that guy.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to see your certificate.
What planet was that?
I don't think that
Like,
guy's had it.
Mm.
What do you got? Oh, shoot, what was the Toy Story line? God damn it.
I really like
The
when
Oh, yeah.
I was
I
so
like when
confident going
Cassian-
into that.
walks in with the blaster, and the doctor's like, "I did everything I could. I did everything. What do you want?" It's like, no, man,
You did nothing.
you didn't
That-
do anything.
That blew me away. Skeen? Is it Skeen?
Yeah,
Dean, that was shocking. That was legitimately
that was
surprising.
interesting.
So
Although
I-
thinking back now to him not actually watching, what's his name's back? Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name.
Tamarin.
Tamarin.
Yeah,
Yes.
You're right.
It,
Yeah,
it,
he
it works
doesn't.
He
now.
didn't cover him.
Yeah.
He didn't. Yeah.
He shot one guy,
Like,
but he
wow.
didn't take out the other.
Yeah,
Skeen's
'cause
the worst.
I was
I'm
Skeen
thinking,
blew
like,
it.
wow.
I was thinking that during the battle. I'm like, cover fire is you literally just keep shooting, just so that everybody like ducks, you know, and gets
Yeah.
into
Yes.
cover, so that the person can run in front of you. You don't just shoot one guy and you're like,
And then he hides. I'm
Done.
done.
all covered. Go right ahead, buddy.
Yeah, he
No.
didn't care.
Yeah.
And he also did. It's sad. He wanted to stop at the doctor for Nemec, but clearly he just wanted to stop to try to do that plan.
Mhm.
He didn't actually
He
care,
wasn't
which
thinking.
I'm telling
he
you.
deserves an Oscar for that performance. But like, jeez, he also deserves to go to
Suck
hell or
a-
something.
Suck a candy corn. That's what he deserves.
Yeah, he deserves a candy corn.
Yeah, they're outside.
Or
of the
what's a
hut,
worse
just, like,
candy than a circus peanut?
Circus peanuts.
Circus
Oh.
peanut.
He
Necco
deserves a
Necco
circus
wafer.
peanut. Necco wafer.
Sorry to
A
end our
Massachusetts
viewers for,
staple.
Like Necco wafers. I
Oh,
know
I-
we should
that
have
was-
Massachusetts pride for that, but there's no pride to be found.
But I was even more blown away when Cassian just shot him. Like, how many times have we seen Cassian just murder someone and
Yeah.
In the
Cassian is
show?
the kind of person to be like, "Oh, you're unarmed."
boom, I hate
done.
you.
I mean, it works for like the first time we even saw Cassian in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like it makes sense. But I definitely I was like, whoa. That
I
just
love that
happened.
for him.
I
He just
thought-
kills people he doesn't like.
Yeah, no, I
know
like that
For
Ca-
good
that's a
reasons.
Character
Yeah.
trait. You have to respect the character trait. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
just his. That's his life. You got to let him live it. If he wants to, if he wants to shoot people to piss him off, / with broken arms, that's just what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
But I will say that it was more shocking to me when he shot him because I was like, what the hell are you gonna do? You just shot Skeen. You're walking into
Yeah.
the room. You're
No
gonna look
proof.
suspicious as hell.
And he did.
I think deep down
Yeah.
Vel believed it. Because I mean, she at
because
first
he-
she was like, "Oh, this sucks. Like, what are you doing?" And then she was like, "Oh, okay." Like, hands him the manifesto and kind of seems a bit more chill. But
And he asks for the he's like, "Oh, I'll just take my cut, and I'll leave you the ship, and I'm just gonna leave." Which you wouldn't do that if you were trying to steal from them.
exactly,
Again.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it's not a bad thing.
Do you think that Vel, or do you think that Nemec actually said to Vel, give Clem the manifesto, or do you think Vel decided in that moment?
It's a good
To give it
question.
to
I thought that too when it happened.
Because that'd
I
be like
think-
very like a Nick Fury giving like Coulson's like bloody like Captain America cards that
Right.
were in
Oh,
his
yeah.
lock or on his body. I think
A good scheme.
I think no, I think he woke up again. I think he had like a second hit of adrenaline while he was on the table, and he was like, "Give Cassian my manifesto," and then he like passed out.
Tell
And that was like, the
Clem.
last thing.
Tell
He was
Clem.
right.
Clem. Yeah.
That was right.
He's lying on the table. Tell Clem he was right about me.
And he's talking to Quadpaw, and Quadpaw's like, I have no idea who you're talking
Like,
about.
Do it
What
all
is this,
four
a
hands. Just
reference
like,
to Return of the Jedi? What the hell's
I don't know
going on?
what's going.
What are you
Oh my
talking
God.
about, dude?
I
Right.
could though see it either way, because
Yeah.
he really seemed to like Cassian,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
But-
bonding. They were connected. They were
but he was
brothers.
also dying. So
So I think it was a decision by Vel to give it to him because
I like
of something that someone pointed out on Twitter afterwards, that one of Clem's one of Nemec's last words is just climb.
Yeah, right.
What is
Same as
what happens to K2SO?
K2.
K2 yells climb before he
Climb.
explodes the panel in Rogue One.
interesting.
And then bites the
And
dust.
then they go,
So-
oh,
And then
I
K2's
mean-
lying on the ground, and he's like, "Tell Jin, you were right about me.
So they,
You were right about me."
my headcanon is that they upload Nemec's intelligence into K2, and
Yeah.
then him and Nemec are just best
my
friends
God.
for a few years.
And
We
then
got some like
when
robo brain
K2
business going on.
dies,
I mean,
Yeah.
he is a
Next
cyber, like he's got that cybernetics shit happening,
Yeah,
Alright.
there we go.
Mr. Quadpaw.
Mr.
Yeah.
Quadpaw. Dr. Quadpaw.
Doctor.
Yes.
Excuse me,
I don't
Mr.
know about that. I don't know
Mr.
about that.
Quadpaw was
So-
my father.
I didn't go through one month of medical school to be called
Right,
Mr.
that's not my-
Quadpaw.
I don't
Hey,
trust
can
this.
we get a spin-off of Dr. Quadpaw and Dr. Mandible?
Ooh, and they have a doctor
Absolutely.
off.
And the mod doctor, and he's the moderator between the two of them.
The moderator, yes.
There you go.
Matt, we
Okay.
saw your favorite doors again on that little hut. The
Yes!
plastic strips for
The
Amanda.
doors! Okay,
Your favorite
For-
Star
for
I
Wars
didn't even
context.
doorway.
notice that. I hadn't even noticed that.
one
But
time
now that I'm thinking of it, it's pissing me off.
we got off the Z-Pen and we started talking about, the best doors in Star Wars, because why not? I'm talking physical doors, like
Yeah.
sliders up and
I don't know
down,
what else
Yeah.
we would be
little
talking
like
about.
moss
I remember
pogo, like
that.
on the hinges, and then the ones that are just like the plastic like meat packing plant like type curtains that we see in the one episode of Book of Boba Fett when Mando shows up, right? Well,
Yeah.
they're back. They're back in this.
I'm
and I'm like,
offended.
best doors in Star Wars. AJ literally had a page of notes, and we're rewatching the episode, and I'm like, AJ, the doors, they're
I
back.
can't
Oh
fit
my
in.
God.
I can't fit in the strips.
Do you know why those strips were there? It's symbolism, because Dr. Quadpaw's a fucking butcher.
Maybe.
I
He
mean,
chopped up my boy Nimic.
I mean,
They
like,
run to a butcher shop.
another serious question.
Oh my goodness.
What
no,
what planet do you think that is?
I don't know.
that they're
Because
on.
yeah, that Dr. Quadpaw's on. 'Cause
I'm gonna
it
say
kind
it's
of, with like the grasslands, it looks either like Lothal, or it's that planet that they go to in the Clone Wars with the Lurmen. I don't remember the name of it.
Oh
but
yeah.
Yeah,
when they're rolling around.
I think it's Quadpopolis actually.
yeah.
I gotta use the secret knock to get it on Quadpopolis. Follow through.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyone?
Becca, we had we all had an idea last week. It was more so Jack and Matt started the idea, and then Jamie and I liked it. But what do you think about Vel being Luthen's daughter, possibly? We'll talk about Luthen in a minute.
Interesting.
Right? Because Matt, that
mean-
was more so your idea, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking I actually don't think that's the case now. I don't know.
You changed your mind?
Well, I don't know, because he seemed super, like he was talking to her the first episode they're together, and he's like yelling at her and like really stern, and she like listens to him, and it seems kind of father and daughter. And then last episode he was like super nervous and like checking in on them and like calling them and like all that. But this
mean-
time he just seemed like happy that he just seemed happy that it was done. I don't know. I guess you could interpret that as like he thinks like, oh yay, it went well, my daughter is safe.
Mhm.
I'm happy.
I
Yeah,
could
that's a good
see it either way, but yeah, I don't know. That's an
Well,
interesting one.
We'll see.
I guess he goes into the back of his shop and just starts laughing.
I
Maybe-
Yeah.
love it.
if
Top
his
tier
daughter was
retail
possibly
worker.
dead or in trouble, maybe he wouldn't be
Right.
laughing. But
That's
know.
true. But
I
can
want it
just
to be
say-
true.
Can I just say that one guy who mentioned the Aldani heist?
That guy was lounging in that store.
That guy was lounging,
my
but
God.
he also he must think he's the funniest dude in the goddamn galaxy, because he's like, oh, what about Aldani? And he's like, all right, let me go back and check. And he's like, oh, I was just joking. And then all of a sudden he just hears Luthen just like laughing his ass off back there. This dude probably thinks he's the funniest.
No.
shoot around. Like I
Okay.
swear.
Talk about like real life experiences. Have you ever worked in a store, like say like
Yeah.
in like a footwear department, and someone's like, "Excuse me, do you have this exact version or this one similar in like I don't know like a size like 10?" And you're like, "I don't know, let me go check. Give me a few minutes." And then you go on the back and then you start like shooting the shit with your friends in the back of house. And then it's the next thing you know, it's like 5 minutes later, you're both laughing hysterically, and then you realize, oh no, there are no size 10s because that's the most common men's shoe size, and you're like, I gotta go out and tell this guy I don't have the shoe or anything that's even comparable, and then you have to do the walk of shame back out because that's what this was.
That was definitely
That guy's just sitting in the footwear department reading the newspaper about a rebel attack, making
It
jokes.
happens. This was like
Yeah.
plucked out of like real life. It's
Yeah.
so stupid. It's great.
I definitely had those moments when I worked at Starbucks. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
yeah.
It's great.
You just go back there, stand for a minute, and be like, "Yep," looking around.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's just like, do I need something? No. You just standing there.
Yep.
What did you guys think of like just the eye in general? That's not really
Oh,
the
my
show.
God,
but
I
the
loved
model.
it.
Incredible.
I loved it.
Looked
It was
incredible.
so pretty.
I know.
I was a little confused when the first few like things streaked across the sky. I'm like, what the hell are they launching? Because it almost looked like the
Yeah.
trajectory they were coming in on almost looked like they were like missiles launched and
Yeah.
not like flying like overhead.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I knew what was going on immediately, and I was like, oh, ready
Has
for
it
the
begun? And then he's like, oh yeah, it's the Aldani think it's always going on. So we also see the Imperial Senate.
Oh,
That was
Very-
I
so
almost
cool.
fell out of my seat.
Yeah.
I was looking for
loved
you
Very
to
like
eat, not gonna lie.
gross looking in there. Like look at that.
It's not
Yeah.
as nice. Yeah. It,
Everybody's
I love
smoking
how-
death sticks.
Very smoky, yeah, hazy.
No
Yeah, yeah.
regulations. I love how it was almost like deserted in the first place,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you see like everyone just like leaving as well. So it just goes
Yep.
to show how much either imperial senators like either like know their voices aren't being heard, so they're just like yeah whatever, or they just aren't there. Period. It's,
Yeah, well,
that's
it's-
just like a cool visual.
It's one of those things where it's like, why even bother showing up? We're just
right.
we're just a bunch of showy people. We're not actually here to do anything.
So
I
sad,
thought this episode had like some of the best visuals in Star Wars. I thought since like Last Jedi, or I don't know, since the films, since the films
Yeah.
were in theaters, and like to see. I wish I could see this on the big screen. Like
yeah.
if
It
they
was
re-released
so
Andor in
pretty.
theaters, like this would be great. But what a beautiful episode visually, dialogue, writing, the direction. This was just this whole arc, this Aldani arc, I guess I'll call it, was so good. I want to watch it all together.
I
Probably like a
cannot
couple hours.
wait to see what comes next. Cannot wait.
I know the all new nerds. Levi's in here, and Brent is here. He's essentially an all new nerd in my book. But they tweeted out, and I think Chad had the idea too, who's also in the chat. They looked
Chad?
at who the directors are the rest of the season, and it's a singular director, and then one does 3, and then another one does 2. So it looks like next week might be a standalone type, not a standalone, but not an arc yet.
Yeah,
And if I had to
think-
guess, I think they have to make up a lot of ground with Cyril. Something's going on there. Maybe we get an all Cyril episode, maybe, or like,
him sitting on the couch watching the news.
yeah,
Oh,
Well,
Aldani.
Donnie-
I
pops
mean, of the Aldani.
He's like,
that would be
"Oh,
my guess.
I would have stopped him.
What do you think?
I'm just telling you, if I was there, it would have gone damn different.
What do you think Cassian's next move is?
He's gonna leave. He's gonna read the manifesto. He's gonna be like, this guy's got some good points, and he's gonna go back.
Do you think he'll go back to Ferrix?
I think he'll try to make contact at least.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
think
he's
he'll
gonna
go
try to
back,
find-
though.
It probably wouldn't be smart for him to go back.
Right.
Try to find Luthen, maybe.
Well,
He doesn't know where Luthen is.
At the
Yeah.
same time, he just kind of like he told Vel, "Here, take this. Done. Contract closed."
Right,
So I don't
so
think
he
he's
doesn't-
interested in trying to
He
find
doesn't want to
Luthen
find him again. Yeah.
So you
I
think
think
that's
that
the last
Luthen-
we're gonna see of him with Vel and or Luthen?
No, I think that Luthen
No.
is interested in finding him again. Also, it's Stellan Skarsgård. They're not just gonna.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not
that's
done.
it. Here,
The story's not
put on
over.
this wig.
He
All right,
laughs, and
when
that's the
you're
last
done.
time we see him.
That's
The
all I
laugh
got.
that started a rebellion. What is it?
Oh my god.
What's Padme's line? Democracy ends with thunderous applause.
Yeah. So this
And
is how
then rebellion
democracy
begins
dies.
with thunderous laughter
With thunderous laughter.
in a shop.
Wow, that's
She'd
deep.
be proud. She'd be proud.
That's so deep.
It is. What do we think happens to Cinta? Speaking of
Uh,
people we hope to see again.
She gets.
they just-
Well,
she
I mean-
becomes a Donnie.
She becomes.
They give her
So-
the only.
I mean,
act
she
for
has
they
to
didn't
like.
burn.
There's like a meetup spot, I imagine, with her and
I
Val.
hope so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested to know like what that plan was, because was she ever originally supposed to like make the break with them, or was she supposed to be
I don't
picked up?
think so.
So like that's why it's like interesting. So maybe it always was like she'll stay behind and maybe like
Mhm.
go somewhere and they'll pick her up, or like I don't know. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it seemed like the plan was to like meet up somewhere, but what, like how? Because she like puts on the uniform and goes out and is like just kind of with everybody.
Yeah, just wandering.
Yes. So where are you going?
That's a good point, Levi. We see her in the trailer looking up as the Star Destroyer shows up.
Oh.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Oh.
So everyone, that's right. The ISB, and Brent mentioned the ISB, that they're all gearing up right now. We saw them
Oh,
gear
yeah.
up at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
They're all hands on deck.
I love
They
how
better
that's
not
like
have plans for the night.
Yeah.
I love how that was
They-
like literally just the one scene with them, like 2 lines. Of
all
like,
we
all right,
needed.
everyone, tell
Yeah.
your family, tell your aides, you're not going anywhere. This is the moment, and they're just pretty much like, we're gonna crack down on everything, and it's just like, oh, this one little heist, this one little 7-person gig, like shook pretty much the entire empire.
Yeah.
Which is like
Really
really
cool.
interesting that they're taking such like a head-on approach for this one little tiny cell, because it's not even a cell, just one little one-off, and they're like, you know what, everything, fixing it.
That's kind of a
Watch it.
question. What's up, Matt?
I was gonna say, you know who the ISB needs? That chubby
Cyril?
guy with the goatee who's bald and has glasses in Rebels.
Oh, your favorite character, yeah.
Al
The
from
hacker.
Al's Toy Barn, hacking droids. That's who the ISB needs to bring in.
80 million credits. But there was a lot
Yeah.
more in that vault, too. There was probably like
Yeah, they didn't get it all.
3 times as much as
Those
that.
stupid guys had to show up. Why?
And then
I
they
know.
dropped some of it while putting it up.
Yeah, what were they doing? They tried to roll it on like sideways and it just
Yeah.
fell over.
Good job,
Um,
guys.
Desperate.
Oh.
You just get
Stupid.
desperate towards the end, okay?
Yeah, they were rushing it.
Ooh. Can I say that I absolutely love the amount of mud troopers in this episode? Love mud troopers.
Not
Great
even mud
point.
troopers, just
Cannot.
the infantry.
Mhm.
Yeah, the infantry. They're not. I mean, I
I
call
love
them mud
that
troopers.
we're
but
saving the
infantry,
stormtroopers for later, for a
Yeah.
special
Because
moment.
They're special ops.
Yeah,
It
Not
was-
really
yeah.
special ops like Inferno Squad or anything, but they're
higher up.
sort of special. They're not.
I like that the mud
grunts.
troopers are the grunts, yeah.
Yeah, I love that design. Absolutely love that design.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
So this
They're
is
not,
actually
not quite as cool as that one, though.
so this is actually Mud Trooper Han.
Yeah, 'cause he's got the
But-
red.
Let me explain. Here,
Explain
I'll
what?
share. Hang on, I gotta take his like.
For our
mask off.
audio people.
Hang
Was
on.
that Ryan sneezing in the background?
Yes, he just got home.
For our audio people, that was Ryan sneezing in the back.
You could have lied and said it was other roommate Pesto.
Well, I heard a
Um,
sneeze and I was like, wait a minute.
So okay, hang on. Okay, so
Okay,
let me do
alright.
this. So this is a Mud Trooper Han Solo. The big
It's Cyril
difference
Karn.
is the like arm things are a little bit different in the new one, but it is very similar as well to what you see in the Mandalorian when they have like that episode The Believer. Same thing but different helmet. Oh.
Ooh.
Ryan just appeared out of the wiring
But
of the
yeah,
Falcon.
Mud Troopers.
in the back
and
wall.
Mud Troopers are my favorite variant of Imperial armor, and I am obsessed that they're getting so much love.
You know who it
And
also reminds
the
me
armor
of?
is stupidly expensive for so little. But let's not talk about that.
This armor.
Hey,
Hi, Ryan.
All of our toys.
He's
Ryan.
yeah. They say hi. He walked away.
Ryan, what do you think about Nemec?
He's gone. He's long
Oh, wait, he
gone.
can't hear me.
Whatever.
But Matt, what were you
He's
saying?
long
I was
gone.
saying the Mud Trooper uniform reminds me of
Hey.
Veer's
Veer's.
outfit, but
Your
Yeah,
boy.
like
the
just
field
the
gear.
Hoth
Mhm.
field gear.
That's true. With the goggles on the head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Same kind of like
They don't
helmet.
even wear
too.
them.
Thrawn and Price.
Yep.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
field gear. The officer field gear. That's what it is.
I like Brent's comment about the Ghost Crew.
Oh,
Ooh, do you think we'll see them?
I don't
That-
know
that's
if
a
we
season
see
2.
them.
Season
Yeah,
2.
but I like the thought of how it's gonna like progress, and we're gonna see that in Rebels at least.
yeah. I'd love for them to at least mention the Ghost Crew's
Mhm.
antics. You know, maybe the ISB is like, "What's going on Lothal?"
Well, they did
They
already.
sold some fruit.
It was all about fruit.
It's all about fruit.
And they're gonna send what's her name to that.
Price.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
imagine that.
Imagine if Price was there. That'd be
Jamie
amazing.
was, or I think Jamie was you talking about how like
Making
7
memes?
people shook
Oh.
the galaxy with this attack, or this
Yes.
heist, I should say.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
it was
did?
an attack. How much of the rebellion have we seen sparking up across the galaxy at this point? I know they're not like there's Saw is out there,
We saw.
but like, why is this such a big? It's crazy that this is such a big deal. 80 million credits are stolen. Like, that's
that's-
such breaking news. Like, is this one of the
I mean,
first?
I was
Big
gonna say it might
attacks?
be like the biggest attack so far.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, or maybe
Maybe.
like biggest like organized attack.
And
Yeah.
the partisans are
All
doing
at
their
once.
thing. The Cloud Riders are sort of, kind of.
They're like
Ooh.
there, yeah.
Doing their thing.
I don't think anyone's doing this much yet. Like it's not as organized.
Because they already mentioned Kessel.
Mhm.
And they already mentioned the heist. Did they mention the heist on Kessel or just Kessel in
Did they?
general?
I thought it
just
was the
mentioned
heist.
They
Kessel.
mentioned Kessel, and I feel like that was
Well, I thought it was
specifically
the
about
heist because I
the
thought it was
heist.
what the Ghost Crew does.
Well,
Ghost
no,
Crew.
because that
I
would
was
be
talking
Solo.
about
That
Solo.
was-
Cloud Riders.
Well, in Andor they mentioned.
Yeah, so I think regarding the Ghost Crew, they haven't mentioned anything specific. I don't even think that they mentioned Lothal yet. But they mentioned Kessel in like one of the episodes before this, not specifically like a heist, but I think they just mentioned Kessel and some.
So Solo has
Droid
happened.
Uprising, and well, of course, Solo has happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solo happened like 5 or 6 years
5 years
before
ago?
this. Yeah.
In this. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that Kessel mention was probably something along the lines of like they stole a ton of coaxium, these random hooligans. Although Kessel really isn't
Isn't
under
Kessel
Imperial
controlled by the
control.
Pikes?
Well, the Pikes are controlled by the Empire as well.
Yeah, they show up right away because they hear about
Never
it.
made a deal with the Pikes.
But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see where this goes next week. But yeah.
Sorry, I gotta share my actual favorite meme that I've made. Sorry,
It's always about fruit.
because we mentioned the fruit.
What is everybody?
Anyway.
Did something happen on Kessel with
No.
Rebels that I'm like forgetting?
No, nothing
that I know
happened
of.
on Kessel.
Well, yeah, that was
Rebels?
the premiere of Rebels. The first episode, I thought.
They do
was on
something.
It was
on
his
Kessel?
first. It was his first mission with the group.
Was that the Wookiee? He freeing the Wookiees and stuff. Was that on Kessel?
I don't remember the exact
I mean, I believe
episode,
you.
but I mean,
Levi
yeah,
says yes.
Levi's agreeing
True.
with me. Yes,
Levi
Okay,
is
so
our
then-
walking Wikipedia. So
Wa-
Ryan's
walking
in the
Rebels.
shower, else I'd ask him. But yeah,
I mean, you can still bring him on.
I'll just bring him
No
in.
one's gonna. Nobody's gonna mind. They
Yeah,
go
I'm
to
looking
Kessel
it
and
up
save the
too.
Wookiees.
Yeah, Kessel was
Ah.
the first.
I hadn't even
yeah.
thought. I don't know why that slipped my mind. I don't know why I didn't think that was Kessel.
Because she, in the
That totally
episode,
slipped my
she
mind, too.
mentions that's the whole Rebels, like the activity is too random to be random.
Yeah.
And she mentions the Rebel activity on Kessel,
So there you go.
Ah,
That's
which
perfect.
is the Ghost Crew.
there we go.
kid, I'm
And
about to
not
let everyone in on the
Solo.
secret.
So sorry about that.
That's where that line happens, and I didn't remember. Go.
That's on Kessel where
That's on Kessel.
where
Yeah, the
Kanan
whole,
lets
I'm
everyone in
about
on the
to let
secret.
everyone-
I feel like they would have mentioned that though. I feel like sitting
Well-
there being like, this Kessel thing is too random. A Jedi shows up, like that's a big deal.
Well, maybe they
know.
don't all know it was a Jedi.
Maybe.
Maybe that's like top information.
Right,
True.
they didn't let that one out.
Only Palpatine knows that.
As
Only
if everybody
Palpatine Vader.
knows,
and
yeah.
Inquisitors.
And
Yeah.
Grand Inquisitor, yeah.
I could probably believe that actually.
Oh,
probably
that's
a
so
good
cool that
explanation.
this and Rebels season 1 take place at the same time. So
Yeah. Well, I knew that. I was hoping there would be some kind of mentions, but I guess we've already got them.
you already got
missed
one,
it.
and we missed it.
And now, not only did I miss it, but now
Thank you, Levi.
that's all I'm going to be thinking about for the next week. So
That's next
time
week's
to rewatch
episode.
Rebels, guys. I need no excuse to rewatch Rebels, Brent. So I'm in.
Oh my god. I'm,
I know,
not
it's-
mentally
I'm pretty
available
sure-
to do that.
It might be the four of us's favorite Star Wars show.
It's
I know
mine.
Ryan has said that it might be his. Becca's is probably
Right.
Clone Wars. but
Yeah.
Maybe Rebels is too.
I love
but
Rebels is like right there, but Clone
Yeah.
Wars is always top.
that's fair.
Rebels is one of my favorite Star Wars things in general.
Oh yeah,
Not
yeah.
just
Yeah.
shows.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Rebels is like right there, but so is the Bad Batch.
And so is Andor almost. Oh, Andor's been.
Andor's pretty high.
Andor's
yeah,
knocked
yeah.
my socks off. The guy that gets shot out of the cockpit that's me watching the show. Oh my god.
Holy
I would
crap,
say-
did you guys feel that?
For the live action shows, Andor is probably creeping up on Mando, but I don't think anything's going to dethrone Mando.
It's past it
because
for
No,
me. It's
I mean-
past it.
I like Mando.
I don't know why, but
I
it
do
has.
like Mando, but
You know
I
what
like
we need to do?
lightsabers and swords. That's my thing.
that's fair.
What about
For,
Rebellion?
For a
What about
proper
Nemec?
test, AJ, for a proper test, I mentioned it earlier today. We need to rewatch the Marshall episode just to like get you like
Oh,
amped about it.
I wanted to
again.
say that, Matt. That you brought this up. So, the Marshall episode. Matt and I have famously said that's the best live action and maybe best, our favorite episode of Star Wars television. This is close. Doesn't beat it, but it's close. This might be number
Okay.
2. This episode.
I
This arc
agree
and
with
this
that.
episode.
I can
Yeah.
agree with that. I like Mando just because it has the whole, Arthurian thing going for it, and I'm a sucker for that. So,
Yeah, I probably do like Mando more than this, but this show has just been so refreshing in a weird way.
This show is unbelievable.
I think that's what it is for me.
Don't even get me started on how good it is. Like,
Yeah.
we talk about that all day, but I also really like Mando. So
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
they're different. They're just different shows. They're hard to compare.
Yeah. This one's really quenching my thirst right now, but
Quenching that thirst. Quad paw. Quenching that thirst.
Quad paw.
I can't believe it.
Quad paw. Unbelievable. I'm
Oh.
going to be thinking about that all week now, too.
Get
Oh.
those dung worms out of here.
No way, dude.
we went a whole
Dung
stream
worm.
without the dung worms thing.
We did.
Oh, we gotta play it though. We gotta play it for Becca. Here it is.
Dog worm for sale. Hey, stop walking on my
I'm pretty
and
sure
that's,
she's seen it in
uh,
person.
I
As
was
you
gonna
probably
say,
know, the Phantom Menace.
played that.
Yeah, she's been with us when we played that.
Ryan
If
probably
she goes
quotes
to
it all
your
the
house,
time.
She's played that.
I don't know if
Sure.
we've ever walked across the worms before, though.
No.
You know what's
I
happening?
think we did
You
have
have
Boo
to have.
when you were here.
Ryan's in the bathroom right now. He's in there saying tongue.
Dung worms. When he gets out, tell him.
Dung worms. All right.
Ask if it's
Levi
sponsored by
says
Ray
that
Core
Quad
Skin
Paw works
Jacket.
for Crimson Dawn. Maybe.
No,
Oh. No,
Okay.
don't do that.
no, we're not
Oh,
bringing that back.
jeez.
Really quickly, I guess before we finish up, I mentioned that I went off the deep end earlier today and I made a bunch of cryptid Lula memes.
Show them off. Come on.
Oh,
Oh.
that was it. So here's the first one. We have a
Nice.
Bigfoot Lula with the iconic Bigfoot photo,
The Patterson Gimli film. That's so good.
and here's my other one here. We have a Loch Ness
Oh
Lula.
my
Hey.
god.
Okay.
Loch Ness Lula.
Lock Lula.
Completely
Lula.
the shadow and everything. Thank you very much.
Oh my
Um,
Like
god.
that.
Yes,
I
in case
like
you're
it.
wondering, Star Wars is just about Lula. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to my TED Talk today.
That was brilliant.
Right.
Absolutely.
You guys got anything else
No.
about this episode?
Oh, somebody I saw on Twitter that the person, like in the middle of the Senate, isn't Palpatine. It's
didn't even
Sly
look.
Moore.
Really?
So,
Yeah,
dude, we got to see Sly Moore, and
I think
I didn't
very
even see her.
tiny.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't know
she's
if
not
you
in
can even
this.
see it. Yeah,
Out of the shot
That's
there.
so close.
like I guess one shot has like a
gotta see
bald
Miss-
head, and
Miss
it's
Sly
not
Moore.
Palpatine.
Is it Masameda? It's not Masameda.
Okay, is Masameda Mr. Baldhead? Excuse
You can't miss
Yeah, I was gonna
Masameda
say, you
also.
could tell
I
a
mean,
difference.
he takes up the whole Senate building.
You can't miss Mass.
me. His name is Mass for a reason.
Is Ornfree Ta dead at this point?
Warren Frita doesn't die.
No, I know.
Not yet.
He has the fake death in Bad Batch.
He's the fake
but-
out death in Bad Batch.
I
Yeah.
hate that. Ugh.
Ugh.
Anyway. Right.
Good moment.
Great moments in Star Wars history. Right.
Great moments.
For our listeners, AJ just randomly held up a HoloNet Marauders mug.
Yep.
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 That he did. That he did. There it is. Anyway, thank you so much, Becca. Thank you for jumping on the stream with us tonight.
Of course.
This is thank you for joining in our randomness and Andor wrap up. And
Oh, yeah.
I think we're gonna call it a night here, guys. So thank you so much, chat, for chatting along with us. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you've been listening, there's a video version of this as well. If you've been watching the video, go back and watch it or listen to it in the audio version. You can do that as well while you're driving
Sure,
around
why
and
not?
just
Use your
drive off the
imagination.
road. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Listen to it while you watch
do
Andor.
that.
It's like the director's cut, or the director's
won't-
commentary.
But it
we're
won't
not
make
the
any
tra-
sense.
It'll
Anyway,
make
thank you
perfect
so much.
sense. This is
Dumb
about as long
worms.
as that episode was. Just listen to us talk about it while it happens. It'll work.
There you go. Maybe. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Holland Marauders podcast. You can find us everywhere at Holland Marauders, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Quad